Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hutchinson Motorsports TV, the world's #1 streaming service. Tonight, we got the Stars and Stripes Next Gen Series here for the Kansas 200, week 1 of the playoffs. We're jumping straight into qualifying action. Should be a good one tonight. We've got about 20 cars signed in or so here, per the usual. Going to be entertaining to see how this works out with our playoff racers, but let's see who the first cars to hit the speedway are here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the GOAT, the 05 Tire Pros machine, Scott Rickard, out on the speedway. Let's hop on board with the GOAT. Scott Rickard getting that thing rolling early. You know, I was talking to Scott earlier. Privately, he guaranteed a win this week. He told me these clowns have no chance to run with the GOAT here at Kansas. So Scott Rickard, looking to win it here at Kansas, told me it's everything but a guarantee. But he's starting lap number 1 here. Looking good through turns 1 and 2. What does the Tire Pros 05 car have in store for us tonight? Let's hop up to the Hutchinson Motorsports blimp, the world's #1 view here. Unbelievable, folks. For you great fans at home, gives me the goosebumps every time I see it. But we got the GOAT here, coming out on through the start finish line. He's going to cross the line, top of the board. No surprise there. 31-1-2 for the GOAT, Scott Rickard. But he's got another lap to go. The second lap's usually the money lap here at Kansas. Currently top of the board, looking to add on to that 31-1-2 time. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. Scott Rickard, the GOAT. Hopefully didn't tap the wall there. He's going to go down to the apron, crossing the line. Lap time's going to be 30.88. Not good enough for first. Ross Tatum, top of the board. There he is. Out on the speedway, we got Andrew Hess out here. Andrew Hess, not a fan of Italians. He told me every time he sees an Italian out on the speedway, he is going to junk him. The Hess Gasoline 54 machine, Andrew Hess. Kyle McCoy out on the speedway with that junk Iowa State #7 machine. He's going to be sitting in 5th here so far. Ben Shepard with the ugliest font in the game, the Arial font #69 machine, Ben Shepard. Chad White in the slow #36 Havoline machine. What does Chad White have for us? It's been a disappointing season for the 36 car of Chad White out of Loudon, Tennessee. But for the final lap here, he's going to cross the line. What kind of time does he have? And folks, Chad White, please report to the rear. Good enough for 9th out of 11. 31-1-3. Chad White's going to be in the back. The gambling man, Tom Ogle, out here in the white claw bowling green Hutchinson Motorsports #11 machine. What kind of lap time does the Wooster, Ohio, and Tom Ogle have for us? Let's hop on board. Rolling the top here from Wooster, Ohio, out of turn 4 for the final time. Or first time, sorry. He's got another lap to go. But his first lap, he's going to cross the line here. He's in the back, 14th right now. But it's all about the second lap here. What does Ogle have in store for us, folks? Nonetheless, we appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to click the like button on the video. Subscribe to the page. Hutchinson Motorsports TV, world's #1 streaming service. Where else can you see racing like this? Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. The 11 of Tom Ogle. Down to the apron. Through the tri-oval. He's going to cross the line. That's going to be good enough for 5th. 30-9-0. For Tom Ogle. We got the super speedway specialist Brian Lynch out here. He's running dead last. Well done, Brian. Josh Robinson out here out of Canton, Ohio. Robinson ready for the playoffs here. You'll notice the green banner on the cars. That means they're in the playoffs. Then we got Ryan Lynch out here in the Cookout 31 machine. Ryan Lynch struggling. Oh, when he hits the wall. So Ryan Lynch sitting in 20th. That car's junk. But qualifying, we're wrapping up here, folks, as Josh Robinson makes his final lap around the speedway here. He's going to cross the line. What's his lap time going to be? Good enough for 9:30.97 for Robinson. So it's official, folks. Ross Tatum, quick time, top of the board, the 21. Ross Tatum going to kick off from the pole position. Week number 1 of the playoffs here at Kansas for the Kansas 200. Ladies and gentlemen, here's tonight's starting lineup on the front row, kicking off from the pole position where he belongs. It's the 21, Ross Tatum. 2 is outside, the number 23 machine, Dylan Grimm. Row number 2 on the inside, it's the GOAT, the 05, Scott Rickard. 2 is outside the 15, Dylan Hoffman. Row number 3 on the inside, the 11, the gambling man, Tom Ogle. 2 is outside in the 32 machine. It's the ladies' man, Griffin Salyer. Row number 4 on the inside, the 69, Ben Shepard. 2 is outside the 44, Kyle Bowling. Row number 5 on the inside, going to be the 30, Josh Robinson. 2 is outside the 9, Zach Kreitz. In row number 6, we're going to get the 8 car, Josh Gratton on the inside. 2 is outside the Italian Hayton 54 machine, Andrew Hess. In row number 7 on the inside, going to be the number 7 machine of Kyle McCoy. 2 is outside the 25, Nate Lynch. In the 15th position, it's the 28, Josh Whitaker. 2 is outside the ladies' man's brother, the 18, Gavin Salyer. And in 17th, we got Chad White in the 36. 2 is outside the 4 of Aaron Hale. And folks, if I haven't said your favorite driver, it's because they're slow, they're junk, they're in the back. You're going to have to take a look and see where your slow favorite driver is starting here tonight. But the field's ready to roll. We're about to leave pit road. Get rolling here. Kansas 200 here. Hutchinson Motorsports TV, world's #1 streaming service. As we get ready to roll here, we're going to get a few things set here for technicalities, because we're the world's #1 streaming service. One-man show up here in the booth. I do it all, folks. That's why they call me the GOAT, Blake Hutchinson, up here in the booth. For you great fans at home. I do it all, folks. Looking at the chat, we got Todd Gratton. Rooting for the Grattons, not rooting for Zach Kreitz anymore. Todd Gratton is sick of the 9 car of Zach Kreitz. I was talking with Todd the other day. He said, you know what? Zach Kreitz, all that man does is take from us Grattons. And we are sick and tired of it. So the Grattons leaving Zach Kreitz. He is out of the crew, folks. So Mr. Kreitz in the 9 car is all on his own. Can he handle the pressure, folks, with the playoffs starting here this week? We're going to get the playoff standings here up for you shortly. Give me one moment. Actually, we won't. I'm not going to have it ready. Going to be honest, because the pace car is in. We're ready to roll. Going to be 133 laps here around Kansas. Front row going to be Tatum on the inside. Grimm on the outside. Green flag in the air at Kansas. Pretty even start here through the field, side by side. Heading into turn 1, the 23 of Grimm looking to get a run on the outside lane. Coming out of the corner, the GOAT, Scott Rickard on the inside, trying to help out Tatum in the 21. Ross Tatum going to hold on to the race lead for now. But knocking on the door, the GOAT, Scott Rickard, right on his back bumper. Let's hop on board with Mr. Scott Rickard, who is now your new race leader, and he stuffs Tatum. 3 wide for the race lead. Boy, Scott Rickard guaranteed a win with me earlier, and he tried junking his competition. What a scary move. Rickard wasn't aware they were 3 wide, and he almost junked the 21 of Tatum. Meanwhile, we got a battle for the race lead. Newcomer into the scene here, Dylan Hoffman there. Looking to take over the race lead. Hopefully Rickard's car is good to go. Looks like it should be fine here. Coming out of the corner, Scott Rickard, after almost junking 2 of your leaders, taking over the race lead. Boy, I tell you what, that 05 car is looking good here tonight. Out front. Meanwhile, Ross Tatum, I don't know how much damage he's got, but he's starting to fall back here. back to the 5th position. Oh, 11 gets junked. Tom Ogle is junked. Caution might come out here, folks. Oh, we're still green. We are still green. Let's see this replay, though, here. Tom Ogle just got flat out dumped, it looked like. Let's see what happened here. Oh, it looked like the 9 of Zach Kreitz just ran him over. Here it is. We're still live, by the way. But you see the 9 there, Kreitz there on the bottom. Oh, no, he doesn't. Ogle just comes down, gets loose, and junks it into the 9. So it looks like Zach Kreitz had some bad luck after the Grattans left him. All on his own, getting no help out there as Tom Ogle just junked him. Round of applause for the gambling man, Tom Ogle. But meanwhile, out front, the GOAT, Scott Rickard, on cruise control. He told me earlier he's going to smoke the field, and boy, is he doing it or what. That Tire Pros 05 car is hooked up here tonight at Kansas. So let's look through the field here. Check out your battle for last. The best battle in the field. You know, I'm not going to count this. Kreitz was involved in a wreck. Here's your battle for last. It's the ladies' man's brother in the 18 holding the spot. But I tell you what, that Wendy's 18 car is slow here tonight. I was out there for practice earlier, and honestly, he was holding me up the whole time. The ladies' man's brother in the back. Right now, he's side by side with Ryan Lynch. That's a battle for last, folks. What a big battle here right now. This is for 20th position. And how about your last season's points champion, Josh Robinson? Looking pretty slow here at Kansas. That 30 car, he's junk. Let's hop on board. See why this 30 car is so slow here at Kansas. Well, I tell you what, he just got passed by the 24 of Brian Lynch. You know you're struggling when you see that 24 blow by on the outside line. So we look to the field here. Let's see what we got. We got Chad White rolling in 10th right now. Feeling good about his chances here. Tell you what, nobody's wrecked more this season than that 36 car, Chad White. He's trying to top it, and he's just going to let the 8 car blow right by him. So we're going to jump back out to the front. The GOAT, Scott Rickard, has about a third of a second lead here on the 23 of Dylan Grimm. We're here, lap number 8. This is playoff race number 1 of the season here. Pretty clean here so far. As we look through the field, Nate Lynch currently running in the 9th position. That number 25 Bitcoin machine of Nate Lynch out of Manchester, Iowa. Boy, do we have a story about Nate Lynch here tonight, folks. You know what? While we're green, we're just going to go over it. Tell you what, so you know what? Last Friday night, I got a call, very concerned call. You know, and it was Nate Lynch's family. They were on the line. They said, Blake, look, we know how important you are to Nate, and we need you to come up to Iowa. So I said, all right, Nate. So I jumped in my car. I took off work and everything, went up to Manchester, Iowa, and we all sat in a room. We waited for Nate Lynch to come home from work because, folks, he's been having a gambling problem. I tell you what, on the Masters, he lost thousands on the Masters. He's betting on golf, has no clue, doesn't know the first thing about golf, but he's betting on it left and right. And he has just been struggling with all these bad bets, losing money left and right. So we sat him down. We said, Nate, you have a real problem, bud. You're losing way too much money. This is going to have to stop. Something has to change. He says, I totally understand, Blake. I know exactly what to do. So we were all feeling great about that. You know, we got up, we all hugged, we felt good. I started driving home, and then I look up on Discord in the for sale chat. Nate Lynch started listing all his family heirlooms. He says, I'm just going to sell everything so I can bet some more. So Nate Lynch continues to bet at this moment, still has a problem. He doesn't care. He's selling family heirlooms to fuel this gambling problem. But Nate Lynch currently running 9th right now. But we jump back up to the front. The GOAT, Scott Rickard in the 05, feeling good. Got about a half-second lead here on the 23 of Dylan Grimm. Leader starting to put it on him a little bit. We got a bit of a battle back here, though. Handful of cars duking it out from about 4th to 10th. Boy, how about this run so far for Ben Shepherd? His best run of the season. The Ariel Font number 69 machine of Ben Shepherd sitting in the 5th position. Ross Tatum, after he almost got junked earlier, still rolling. So we look through the field. What else we got going on? William Duff, the fourth here, currently running in 17th. 17 car looking pretty slow here tonight at Kansas. Not going to lie. Do I ever lie to you fans at home? The answer is no. So meanwhile, let's take a look here. What's Tom Ogle up to? He's still on the lead lap. Yeah, it looks like Tom Ogle kept that thing out there and rolling. So he's going to hope for a caution, see if he can get that baby fixed up. But meanwhile, Scott Rickard out front feeling good. Half a second lead, but second and third starting to reel them in. How about this run so far for the ladies, man? The 32, Griffin Salyer. Is he burning up his tires? We're going to find out if Griffin Salyer can maintain pace here. Let's hop on board with the ladies, man. Here he is, ladies. Last week, he did shave his beard, though. Looks a little bit different. But the ladies tell me he's still looking handsome. Here he is running in third. Not much else going on as we jump back a little bit here. Andrew Hess trying to hold off the field, currently sitting in sixth spot. Side by side, these guys duking it out here. Once again, this is from fourth all the way back to about ninth place. Bumper to bumper, side by side. Hard racing right here. Shepard throwing a block here. How about it? Ben Shepard wants to hold on to that sixth spot. He's blocking like 2001 Dale Earnhardt at the Daytona 500. Trying to maintain this pace. Side by side, here comes a 25 Nate Lynch trying to get by, and he does. The 69 thought about junking him, but he thought otherwise. But here comes a 25 and Nate Lynch. Let's hop on board. Might have a gambling problem, but he is hooked up and bad fast here tonight. Currently sitting in sixth position. Taking it through the middle as Hess gets into the wall. Lynch going to go underneath him, make the pass. Lynch gaining the fifth position, and we got a couple sideways. The 15 losing it. Is he able to save it? Not sure what's going on here. We're having some trouble. Oh, there we go. Looks like we're still rolling. Dylan Hoffman almost got junked, able to save it. Let's rewind it. We're still green here. That's a rough one there for the 15. Let's see here. Entering the corner. Does he just run into the 69? Oh, yeah. So it looks like the 69 goes down because the 54 is in the wall. The 15 has no clue they're three wide, just smokes the 69, and he's dropping all the way to the back. So that's unfortunate for him, as well as the 69 of Shepard losing a few spots. But meanwhile, Scott Rickard out front. Lead is still about half a second as Dylan Grimm keeping him in his sights. Looks like Griffin Salyer, the ladies' man, starting to fall back. He might have burned his tires up here on the start of this race. Trying to put a show on for you great fans at home. But I tell you what, we're heading in to lap number 20. We're going to take a short break here. Don't you worry. You're not going to miss a lap. We're going to have Hutchinson Motorsports TV side by side. We're going to stay live here as we get the tunes playing in the background. Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Be sure, click the like button. Subscribe to the page. We'll be back shortly. As we return back from break, Scott Rickard still out front here, still clean and green. Lap number 30 coming up here shortly. Rickard's race lead still out about half a second. Dylan Grimm keeping him right in his sights here at 23 of Grimm. He's been on a bit of a cold spell lately. He is long overdue for a win. The Fort Collins native Dylan Grimm. He started off the season red hot, but he's really cooled off here lately. He is trying to get this thing rolling. But, folks, we do have the playoff standings ready for you here. Let's pull them up. Here they are. Playoffs starting this week here at Kansas. I believe it's 10 races if I'm not, I don't know, maybe 5. Hell, I have no clue what I'm talking about. But right now, Dylan Hoffman, 23 playoff points, and we got Dylan Grimm with 15, followed by the GOAT, Scott Rickard with 12. And you see the rest of them there. Apparently, you have 14 drivers on the playoffs. I thought it was 12. That tells you what I know there, folks. Rumor has it Nate Lynch made it 14 instead of 12 so he could make the playoffs. But we're still green here. Lap number 31 underway. Scott Rickard, I believe he's led every single lap here. Maybe he missed the first lap. But he's been out front the whole time. As we look through the field, your hard charger currently William Duff the fourth. How about that? Said that 17 car was junk earlier. Maybe it's not so junky. Currently running in the 12th spot, started all the way back in 24th. William Duff the fourth. Josh Robinson still struggling, currently sitting in the 16th position. And folks, you'll see on the screen that green banner that signals he is a playoff driver. Not sure they all have it though. But he's struggling right now in the 16th position. Meanwhile, Nate Lynch still cruising in the 4th spot. Good run for him so far. Might be his best run of the season. No better time to have your best run than once the playoffs start. The Manchester, Iowa, Nate Lynch wheeling and dealing his way through the field. But I tell you what, Andrew Hess right on his back bumper. And I'm not sure about the genealogy here for Nate Lynch, what his ancestral DNA is. But if he's got any Italian in him, he better look out. Because Andrew Hess is not a fan of those Italians. And if he's got any in him, he's going to dump them. I tell you that right now, folks. Keep an eye on that 54 machine. Let's hop on board. The new Lennox, Illinois. Andrew Hess. Trying to get to that back bumper at 25. Maybe he'll turn him. Oh, the 69 of Ben Shepherd just absolutely annihilated the wall. Good run so far for Shepherd, but he might have hurt his car with that one. Meanwhile, we check out back here. We got Brian Lynch cruising in a comfortable 21st position. Feeling good about his chances here. Right in front of him, we got Ryan Lynch in the 20th spot. Boy, a couple Lynches are struggling, but we got one doing well. So it all balances out. Then we got Tom Ogle, who stepped on his little wiener here early on. Flat out junked it. Ended up losing it. Turned sideways. Smoked the 9 car. But trying to work back to the field. Meanwhile, Josh Gratton currently cruising in the 13th position. Good run so far for Josh. Trying to do a little better, though. But it looks like your race lead back out to over a second now as the GOAT, Scott Rickard, starts to put it on the field. Boy, now I see why he was so confident guaranteeing a win early on. The confidence is spewing off that 05 car. Little bit of a mishap early on. Almost junked the field, but was able to keep her rolling and held on to the race lead. And now he's starting to leave the entire field. He wants this thing to stay green the whole time. But we're here on lap number 38 out of 133. Long ways to go here. We're at Kansas Motor Speedway for the Kansas 200 right here on the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. As always, we greatly appreciate you wonderful fans at home tuning in. We are broadcasted across the entire world, hundreds of countries, tuned in here live on the edge of their seats to see who wins race number 1 of the playoffs here with the Stars and Stripes Next Gen Series. Meanwhile, we got Ross Tatum cruising in the 3rd spot. Able to keep that thing rolling. Might have had a little damage early on, but doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. Looks like Dylan Grimm starting to reel in your race leader just a bit. Dylan Grimm in 2nd. Race lead down to about 0.8 of a second. We do know the draft does matter a bit here at Kansas. Not like your typical draft and track. But whenever you get a run on a car, it definitely helps here. I noticed that in practice. So we're going to see if Grimm can maybe get in that air behind Rickard and start to reel him in. It looks like Rickard gaining about 1/10 that last lap. So we're going to look through the field here. We got Christian Lawson cruising in the 16th position. Duking it out with the 4 car, Aaron Hale. Oh, Nate Lynch has fallen all the way back to 8th here. At 25 is starting to struggle. Might have burned his stuff up earlier on. We got the ladies' man right on the back bumper of the 25. Ladies' man was putting on a great show early on. Was up to 3rd. Started to fall back. Josh Robinson starting to work through the field up to the 13th position. Last season's points champion Josh Robinson trying to get a good run here for us tonight. But meanwhile, Chad White still cruising in the 5th spot. Best run of the season, Chad White trying to get a top 5 here tonight. Not too much else going on to the field, though, folks. Will Butler, quiet night for him so far. Currently sitting in the 14th position. But we jump back out to our race leaders. Scott Rickard, race lead. Oh, looks like Dylan Grimm might be coming down pit road. Yep, Dylan Grimm down pit road. The first of our leaders to come down pit road. Interesting call here. Short pit in the field. Let's see how that plays out for that 23 car. Dylan Grimm. So that's going to move Ross Tatum up to the 2nd spot. He's going to be 2.5 to 3 seconds behind your race leader. Looks like Nate Lynch coming down pit road this time as well. So our green flag pit cycle's starting here. 2 cars in so far, I believe. Well, we got a handful of others in the back. Brian Lynch down pit road as well as Josh Whitaker. Looks like Josh Gratton going to come down pit road as well. And then the 54 of Andrew Hess coming down pit lane. A late stop here for him. I don't know about that. We'll see if he made it in. Not a good entry there for the 54. Hopefully he slowed it down enough. Looks like your race leader, Scott Rickard and Ross Tatum down pit road as well. So that's going to make Chad White your race leader. I believe that's the first time this season. Let's give him some TV time, folks. The 36, Chad White, new race leader out front. That's going to move Kyle McCoy in the 2nd. Then we got Shepard in 3rd, the ladies' man 4th, and Dylan Hoffman 5th. See how long these guys want to stay out here tonight. Looks like it's going to be they're going to have to pit 1 to 2 more times after this. But they have to go about every 50 laps or so, it appears. So you're going to see them pit around 50 to 100, and then they should be good. So it should be 1 more stop after this one. Unless there's a yellow. Kyle McCoy down pit road, as well as Dylan Hoffman and Will Bustler. Let's going to move Ben Shepherd up to second, Griffin Salyer third, William Duff fourth, and Josh Robinson fifth. See how long your race leader wants to stay out here. Let's see the difference here on old tires. So Chad White out front, his best lap was a 31.21. Last lap around there was a 32.53. So you see a 1.3 second difference here from new tires to junk tires. So you got to remember, every extra lap, this 36 stays out there. He's losing a second and a half almost to your race leaders. Meanwhile, we got a battle for second. The ladies, man, Griffin Salyer are going to get around Ben Shepherd here, take over the second spot. As we hit lap 51, still waiting for these guys to finish up their pit cycles. Here comes the 32, the ladies' man, Griffin Salyer, and late stop there. That is unfortunate. That's going to cost them all kinds of time here. Salyer had to stop, put it in reverse, and then drive into the pits. Boy, that hurts. He had a good run going. Not anymore. But I will say, I was out there for practice earlier. This is quite a difficult track here to enter pit lane. You can't just come off the corner and enter. You kind of have to slow yourself middle of the corner. Get down on the apron and make it. So Chad White's still staying out here. Lap number 52. As you see these guys unlapping themselves, there goes the 23 and the 05. So how about that? The 05 of Scott Rickard lost a few seconds there on Dylan Grimm on that pit cycle. We know Grimm came down a lap or so earlier. So out of the cars that have pit, this is your battle for the race lead. These two side by side. But for now, Chad White's still your race leader. We got William Duff coming down pit road, as well as Ben Shepherd and Kyle Bowling. So we're down to about 6 cars left out there that haven't pit. So let's pull up your Hutchinson Motorsports pit strategy board, the best pit strategy board in the business. Here it is. You'll see your top 7 right there having pit. Grattan on pit road right now. So 6 cars remain. Grattan is not on pit road, actually. Here he is, currently running in the 5th position. But Christian Lawson moving up to the 3rd spot here on the pit cycle. I tell you what, that 3 car looking pretty slow here tonight. He's going to stay out there till that thing's empty, I bet. If you're out front, you're just hoping for a caution, maybe put some of these guys a lap down. Chad White, though, still cruising out front. He is committed to this strategy. Well, you got to think of all the time he's losing, though, staying out this long. Once he pits, he's going to be half a lap behind the guys he was running with before they pit. As Chad White gets in the wall a little bit. That car's starting to get a little tight on these old tires. Lap number 56 underway. Currently, Scott Rickard gets around the 23 of Grimm, which is eventually going to be the battle for the race lead. All the cars in front of these guys have not pit. No caution so far. Been green from the start. Kansas 200, week number 1 of the playoffs. Currently, Chad White still your race leader out front, waiting for him to pit. Here he comes down pit road, it looks like. 36 down the apron, coming down pit road. That's going to make Josh Robinson your race leader. So Robinson in the first, Lawson in the second, Ryan Lynch third. That's going to move Jason Gratton into fourth. So 4 cars left that haven't pit. As the GOAT, Scott Rickard, waiting for him to come down pit road so he can regain that race lead. So Josh Robinson, your race leader out front, he is fully committed to this long run strategy. He better hope it pays off, folks. The good news is he wasn't running real well before the pit cycle anyways. May as well try it out here. Maybe you'll catch a good caution later on. Looks like he's in fuel saving mode. He's holding the clutch going in the corners. Let's hop on board here. He's going to run that thing all the way to empty, it sounds. But take a listen here of Josh Robinson, your race leader. Holding the clutch going in the corner. Saving all the fuel he can save. That tells me he's going to stay out there all the way until that thing's empty. Not sure how far he can make it. I'm not sure what the plan is because you're still going to have to pit the same amount of times as everybody else. So we'll see how it works out for him. As we drop back, Kyle McCoy currently running the 8th position. Solid run so far. McCoy returning back to the series after a quite a long time he was away. But good to see him back here for the 2nd or 3rd time. Tom Ogle's still trying to recover from that mistake early on. Currently running 15th. Folks, our race leader earlier, Chad White, the strategy has really hurt him. He was running around 7th or so, 6th or 7th once the pit cycle started. Right now, he's back in 19th, folks. So Chad White, he's lost all kinds of ground here staying out long. And you know, the current top 4 right now, they've been out there even longer. So they have made their bed. It's time to lie in it. They are toast, unless they catch a caution here soon. We'll say, though, Chad White just put down the fastest lap of the session today. 31.02. That 36 car is quick right now with them fresh tires. Zach Kreitz coming down pit lane right now. So Robinson's still staying out there. At this point, you may as well. So, folks, as we head into lap 65 here, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back here in a minute. We're going to get the Hutchinson Motorsports side-by-side tunes playing. We'll be back here with the Kansas 200 Stars and Stripes Next Gen Series. As we return back from break, we got a new race leader, Dylan Grimm in the 23, taking over the top spot, getting around the GOAT, Scott Rickard. Starting to leave him as well. Looks like he's put on about 0.4 of a second on the GOAT. So Rickard going to have to regroup here, see what he can do to figure out how to get back to the back bumper, that 23 of Dylan Grimm. As we look through the field here, your hard charger right now, currently William Duff, the 4th, sitting in the 7th spot after starting 24th. Good run so far. Nate Lynch into the 5th spot here. Right in front of him, Kyle McCoy in the 7th. So we got some different pit strategies out here. Some of these guys pit early on, some pit late. Chad White, one of them that stayed out pretty long. Seems to be working out well for him, though. Currently in the 9th spot. And he's putting down pretty good lap times right now. Gaining at least 2 to 3/10 of a second on everybody in front of him. So currently Chad White running 31.9 lap times. Race leader running 32.3. So gaining 0.4 of a second every time around. As we pull up our Hutchinson Motorsports pit strategy board, here it is. So you see our race leaders, Grimm and Rickard, have 39 and 37 laps on their tires. Not sure how many laps Chad White has on his. His strategy board doesn't go down to 9th, only goes to 8th. So once he gets around the one car, a buster will be able to tell. But we're here, lap number 84 to 133. The pit window going to open up here. These guys can start pitting anytime. If you pit now, you're going to be good the rest of the race. Just depends, though, all on tire wear. You want to stay out there a little longer, have good tires at the finish, or you want to short pit some of these guys. Set yourself up for the last run. So there we see Chad White has 26 laps on his tires. Your race leader, Dylan Grimm, 40 laps. So 14 lap fresher tires. Right now, Dylan Grimm running 32.2.1. Chad White this time around, 32.05. Oh, 31.99 actually. So he's gaining about 0.2 of a second on the race leader. So we'll see how it plays out as these guys looking to pit here soon in the next 5 to 10 laps, I would guess. But the GOAT, Scott Rickard, he's losing all kinds of ground on the 23 car. Might be going into tire saving mode here. Over a second gap here between him and your race leader. So we look through the field here. Chad White still sitting in the 8th position. Right in front of him, we got William Duff, the 4th. Then in the 6th spot, Dylan Hoffman. Then Nate Lynch in 5th. Quiet night, but a good one so far for Ross Tatum after starting on the pole position. Almost got junked there early on in the first lap. Was able to keep it rolling. But he's got the 7 car, Kyle McCoy, knocking on the back bumper here. No caution so far. All green flag action here. Waiting for this second pit cycle to start. Been a pretty calm race here so far. Couple of battles for the race lead, but here comes Scott Rickard. Looks to be reeling in your race leader here just a bit. So as they're crossing the line, he's 0.97 seconds behind your race leader. Let's see if he can gain any ground this time around. Let's hop on board here with the GOAT. Scott Rickard, see what he's got up his sleeve. Not really looking like he's gaining any ground. Might be losing some ground, actually. That time around, losing a 10th on your race leader. Dylan Hoffman coming down pit lane, so the last pit cycle is officially started. Hoffman the first one to come down. You're probably going to see the guys that pit early on the last cycle. Pit early once again this time. So if we look at the board, that's basically everybody in the top 5 except for McCoy, which is only a few laps later. But it looks like Dylan Grimm down pit lane. So race leader, the 23, Grimm coming down pit lane. I think that's about the right call here. Leaving them 40-some-odd laps left for this last set of tires. If you're Scott Rickard, you don't want to stay out there too long. We saw how much ground he lost that last time when he stayed out there just an extra lap or two. If I'm Scott Rickard, I'm thinking about coming down this next time around. Because he's going to be losing about a second to a second and a half every time around. Looks like Ross Tatum, Nate Lynch, Chad White, Gavin Salyer, Griffin Salyer, and Brian Lynch all down pit lane. So heavy traffic down pit lane right now. The 05 of Rickard looks to be coming down as well. So here comes Rickard. He's going to pass on the race lead to Kyle McCoy in the 7. Oh, never mind. McCoy coming as well. So the 17, William Duff, the 4th, going to take over the race lead. How about that? That might be his first time this season leading. William Duff, the 4th out front here during the pit cycle. So we'll see how much ground Grimm gained on Rickard on those 2 laps he pit earlier than Rickard here. So Rickard just getting going. The 23 gets around him. We'll wait till Rickard gets up to speed. But right now, not looking good. He's already over 2 seconds behind him. Going to be about a 2.5. Maybe a little less. Going to be between 2 to 2.5 seconds here behind Dylan Grimm. So he's got some ground to make up now. But Duff, the 4th, still out there. We got Kyle Bolin in 2nd, Josh Whitaker 3rd, Josh Robinson 4th, and then Christian Lawson round out in your top 5. So we see Robinson, Lawson, and Lynch all out there. Only have 27 laps on their tires. 28. Lynch throwing a slide job there, taking over the... Oh, never mind. Lynch is a lap down. So he's trying to unlap himself. Ryan Lynch out there on the alternate pit strategy. Currently sitting in the 6th position. So our racers between 4th and 7th all out there have about 29 laps on their tires. Was interesting. Chad White elected to pit early that lap, or that cycle around. He stayed out long that first cycle. The second one, short pitting kind of. So he's rolling out in 14th right now, right behind Nate Lynch. Kyle Bolin coming down pit lane. We're here, lap number 97 out of 133. We're going to take our last break here of the night, folks. One last break, then we'll be back here to finish this one out. Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Walking with the attitude, influence on shine. Watch me glow. This is the love life, so nice. Luxury. Luxury. This is the love life, so nice. Luxury. Luxury. Coming in on the scene, looking so fresh, looking so clean. Everybody talk about a glow up, yeah. Cause they love to be seen. Baddest in the whole crew, so fly, so new. Get that bag, money green. Out with the crown, I'm that queen. Glitter gold, on a roll. Watch me shine, watch me glow. This is the love life, so nice. Luxury. Luxury. This is the love life, so nice. Luxury. 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 This is the love life, so nice. So nice. Luxury. This is the love life, so nice. So nice. Luxury. So nice. So nice. Luxury. Here we go.
So returning back from break here, folks, my math here, it appears that Josh Robinson and Christian Lawson, they're shooting for a one-stop race here. They're trying to make it to the finish. But they got to watch out. That 23 car, Dylan Grimm, is reeling them in fast. Right now, Grimm only 4.4 seconds behind your race leader with just about 24 laps left to go. But Robinson and Lawson, you see there, they went 66 laps here on their first stop. Looks like Ryan Lynch doing the same strategy as well. But according to my math, if they go 67 laps, then they should be able to finish this one with one stop. So that's the goal here for Robinson. Not sure he's going to pull off the win. I'm guessing Grimm's probably going to get around him, but hey, he's going to have a much better finish than he was going to have in the back. Lawson as well. Both these guys are running around 15th to 20th once the first pit cycle started. So Dylan Grimm trying to work up through the field, currently up to third. The two cars in front of him haven't pit the second time. They might not need to. He's got 19 laps on his tires. Behind him is Scott Rickard. He's got about a 1.2 second gap. So this is Grimm's race to win here. With over 20 laps left to go, his last time around, he ran a 31.5. Robinson ran a 32.1. So getting about 0.6 of a second on your race leader. The math adds up. He should be fine to get around him. But still a good strategy here for Robinson and Lawson. Probably going to bring home top 5 finishes doing this. That is if they make it. It'll be tight because we know that 66th lap was tough for all these cars as they all came down pit road. So currently, Josh Robinson still your race leader out front, holding off Christian Lawson in second, then Dylan Grimm, Scott Rickard, and Ryan Lynch rounding out your top 5 here. Lap 112 underway. You see Josh Robinson holding the clutch down, saving every bit of gas he can. So jumping back here, Dylan Grimm taking over the second spot. Less than 2 seconds behind Robinson. Probably going to catch him here in the next 5 laps or so. Or less. Maybe 3. So we'll jump up to the Hutchinson Motorsports blimp. Not much going on to the field, folks. It's been green to checkered here. We're on pace 4. Everybody pretty well spaced out. Not a ton of battles here. It's probably your closest battle on the track. Tom Ogle running 15th. The 11 car is junk here tonight. Chad White sitting in the 10th spot. Tell you what, he couldn't really capitalize on his first run when he stayed out there an extra 20 laps. Because he came down pit road with everybody else the second time. So all he really did was hurt himself. But still trying to hold out for a top 10 here tonight. And right in front of him, we got Nate Lynch in the 25 machine. Ryan Lynch is struggling right now. He is one of those guys on that alternate pit strategy to only pit once. And he has dropped all the way to 8th already. Well, he's just putting around there trying to finish this race without having to pit. Ryan Lynch right here. That car's slow. So Christian Lawson out there, he's trying to finish this race without pitting again as well. Holding the clutch, currently in 4th. Scott Rickard getting around him, taking over the 3rd spot. The race battle really between Rickard and Grimm, but it's not much of one. About a 1.5 seconds separate the two. with just about 15, 16 laps left to go here. We are finally getting down to the nitty-gritty. Gonna finish this one. Gonna be a green to checkered race, it's looking like, folks. Kind of a snooze fest, not gonna lie. Hayden in the chat, rooting for the Salyers. Best streaming service. Appreciate you, Hayden. Be sure to like and subscribe to the page. Scratch in the chat asking if Robinson has the fuel. I think he does. He's been saving a lot better than he was the first run, it appears. And he just needs to make one extra lap. I think he can bring home a third-place finish with this strategy, which is much better than he was running before. See him holding that clutch here. Here shortly, he's going to let that 05 of Rickard around him. So we're seeing Robinson, Lostjen, and Ryan Lynch all on this pit strategy. $13 laps left to go here tonight, folks. Not a lot of excitement here on the racetrack. Been a pit strategy run. Wish that happens sometimes. But Dylan Grimm hoping to park in victory lane for the first time in a while. He's been on a bit of a cold spell. He is long overdue for a win. How about the ladies' man tonight? He's running like junk. Currently sitting in 18th. His brother's even beating him. The ladies' man's brother in 17th. The ladies' man in 18th. Not a good night for the Salyers. Boy, Griffin Salyer looked fast early on, but all he was doing was junking his tires. Rickard having trouble getting around Robinson, who's saving fuel. Robinson not giving it up easy here. Finally gets around him, moving Robinson back to the third spot. So Kyle McCoy, the next car behind in fourth. 3 seconds back. Only 10 to go. I don't think McCoy's going to be able to catch Robinson. So the only question is Robinson going to be able to hold on? Does he have enough fuel in the tank? Going to be tight. Dylan Grimm out front has about a 1.2 second race lead. Honestly, it's a little lower than I thought it was with 10 to go here. Last time around, Rickard gained about a half a tenth. Not going to be enough. He's going to need to gain over a tenth every lap here, according to my math. So we're going to hop on board with the GOAT, Scott Rickard. See if you can start to reel in your race leader. It is go time for the GOAT. Does Rickard have it in him? 10 laps remaining. A second gap to make up. Boy, he is sending that thing right now, folks. Crossing the line that time around, he gained another half a tenth. See him playing with gears here, shifting down. Trying to get every ounce of power onto the track. This time around, not looking like he's gaining any ground. As they cross the line, it looks like he lost a little bit of ground that time. So that time around, going to lose, about 2 100ths. Not much, pretty even. So with just 8 laps left to go, we're on board with our second place car, Scott Rickard, the GOAT, trying to figure something out to get back to the back bumper of the 23 Dylan Grimm. We've had no cautions this race. This is going to be our first green to checkered of the season. Of the last 2 seasons, honestly, I think. Boy, if you were here for our Martinsville race 2 or 3 weeks ago, how many cautions did we have in that one? We might have hit 20. Boy, that was a brutal race to watch. But here we are at Kansas. A lot more room to run. No cautions in this one. But your race leader, Dylan Grimm, feeling good out front. 7 laps left to go. 1.1 second lead for the 23 car. Six laps remaining. Dylan Grimm not losing any ground on Rickard, so unless he makes a mistake, this one's about over. Good run so far for Dylan Grimm. Out front, looking to win week number 1 of the playoffs here in the Stars and Stripes Next Gen Series. We're on board with your race leader. Going to be 4 laps to go as he comes around this time. Reeling in some lap traffic, but shouldn't be a problem here with only 4 to go. Three laps remaining here. Dylan Grimm out front. Scott Rickard basically accepting his fate here in the second place. Good run for the 05 of Rickard. Robinson trying to get to the finish here. Low on fuel, but just 2.5 laps to go. Does he have enough in the tank here? Lawson's dropped back to the 7th position. Ryan Lynch all the way back to 12. So the strategy working well for Josh, but not so much the others. So we're on board your race leader. White flag in the air. Dylan Grimm, last time around, has a lap car in front of him. Does Brian Lynch want to junk him and take out your race leader? If you're Brian Lynch in a 24 car, you got to be thinking it. What's he going to do? Dylan Grimm down the backstretch for the final time. He's out front by about 1.5 seconds, heading into 3 and 4. He's going to lap Brian Lynch. Coming out of 4 for the final time. We're on board race leader. Dylan Grimm, checkered flag in the air, wins it at Kansas. Second place goes to Scott Rickard, the GOAT. Third place, Josh Robinson, able to hold on. How about that pit strategy for Robinson? Really worked out well for him. Brings home a top 3 run. Christian Lawson in 7th. But we got Kyle McCoy 4th and Ross Tatum 5th. There's the rest of your standings. So Dylan Grimm wins it here at Kansas. That way we don't wait around on Dylan. I'll give him a minute. We're going to hop in the booth. But Dylan Grimm wins it here. Week number 1 of the playoffs. Has to feel good for Grimm. Early on, Rickard dominated the race, but Dylan was able to get around him. Good pit strategies and great runs. Able to park her in victory lane. Here he is. Dylan Blake up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, good run for you. You were dominating the back half of this race. How'd the car feel?
It was tight. I was running it on the edge the whole time, and yeah, Scott and I had a great battle over that whole race. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, it looked like you made some good calls on the pit strategy, but you just had the speed afterwards as well.
Yeah, I was kind of lacking behind him the first run and the first half of the second run or so, and I kind of noticed when he was past me that he was shifting every lap, and so I made that change, and that made a world of a difference. And then also on top of the pit calls, gaining me a little bit of track position.
Yeah, you had a hot start to the season, and you really kind of went in a cold spell there for a while, so it's good to see you back here to park in victory lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I ended up with the most wins in the regular season, but I feel like I've run terrible lately. The past 2 months or so just haven't been good. So start the playoffs off with a bang is great.
Yeah, it's good to see here next week. Where are we at? Do you know? Let me take a look here. Looks like Bristol. We're at Bristol. How you feeling about that?
Oh, Bristol. I like Bristol. I don't know if I've ever ran here in this car, but I'll have to put some practice in. But generally, it's a good track for me.
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll work out for you. Hey, you did a great job out there parking in victory lane. Before you head out, you got any shout outs or anything to add?
I got to shout out Nate and everyone who puts this league on. It's a blast every week. You for doing the broadcast every week. I got to thank all my teammates, Zach Kreitz, Jason Gratton, Josh Gratton. They helped me a ton. I got to thank my papa for spotting for me every week, and anyone else out there cheering me on.
All right, well, hey, great job, Dylan. Hopefully we see you back here later on during the playoffs, and you can finish off with the bang and win the championship.
Yes, sir. I hope so. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. Dylan Grimm parking in victory lane here, winning the Kansas 223 car. Dylan Grimm getting that job done. Boy, he started off the season red hot, looked unbeatable. And here the last month or two, really struggled, it appears, but as soon as the playoff starts, he kicks it into high gear, able to win it here at Kansas. But folks, we appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to click the like button on the video, subscribe to the page, let us know what you thought. We'll be back here next week, same time, same place. We're going to be at Bristol for week number 2 of the playoffs here with the Stars and Stripes Next Gen Series. Thanks for tuning in.